Hello everybody, welcome to my humble Adobe kitchen. Okay, so this is a little upgrade from the last time we were together, but however, some of you don't know, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But this is my friend Amanda.
Hello.
She's the pro among us, she's the nutritionist, she's the one who's gonna be shadowing me and talking about, what is good for your body, what is not so good for your body. She's got, many clients who are trying to get stronger, some want to lose weight, some want to gain weight. So, we're gonna be picking through some of the stuff that I have in my own cabinets, stuff that I use pretty much every day, as I also somewhat need to lose weight, but I also like to eat as well.
So what are you going to start with, Fabrice?
We're gonna start with the desserts because I have a huge sweet tooth and also it has to rest overnight in my fridge. So dessert first. Okay everybody, so here we are with the desserts. Basically what I wanted to do was something healthy but also something tasty, because for me personally, and I'm sure Amanda can agree to that, if it's just healthy but doesn't taste great, I don't want no business with that. So it's gonna be tasty. So I have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm using here. Mainly what I'm doing is, it's somewhat popular nowadays because chia seeds is being used and we used a lot in a lot of restaurants even. For example, True Foods use as a great chia pudding. So this is what I'm doing tonight. Today, here is my matcha right here. It's a great culinary grade matcha, meaning that it's great to be using with pastries. And I have all of my mix right here. So I have a mix of almond milk right here, which is organic, unsweetened. There's no sugar in here. And coconut cream, which is, basic brand Sprouts unsweetened coconut cream here. No sugar added. And I mixed both of them here. So what I did, I mixed half of my chia seeds here in a little coffee grinder right here that you see. It's not quite the grandma looking one, but it does the trick. I use for my spices, for everything. So I have half of my chia seeds whole and half of them which are grinded. So what I'm going to do now here, I'm going to add all the chia seeds right here in here first, and then the matcha tea. And yes, of course, I will give you the recipe.
That's right, I was going to say.
I put all the matcha right here, which I really like because it gives a really nice green, vibrant color. And I'm mixing this all together here. And it's a raw preparation, so it is, raw food, absolutely. This would be great for breakfast. How am I going to turn it into a dessert? Chocolate, because I love chocolate. So now this is a Valrhona. There's still the price on it. I have my thumb on it. I won't show you how much it costs. Not that much. But this is a Valrhona dark chocolate bittersweet. 70% dark chocolate. Less sugar. This is why I use this. And Amanda's going to help me actually. She's going to put a little bit of chocolate in every one of those cups right here. So you'll see here the color already of the matcha. It's turning green. And it's going to infuse completely and turn everything really nice and
So what
green
makes
here.
it thick? What's going to make it thick?
So the thickening agent in this is going to be the chia seed. So I have half of them grinded. Here I have a buckwheat. You can use oatmeal for the consistency of the pudding, or you can use buckwheat, which I personally like a lot. It is right here in this container here. It's basically a cream of buckwheat, which I use the same way I would use oatmeal. I grinded it as well. So I'm going to put this in here. Same thing, uncooked. I'm going to put the rest of the chias right here. And here, no sugar added. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add, I have 6 tablespoons of maple syrup. Organic grade, which no secret, I got it at Costco. So it's organic. I love maple syrup. Honey, maple syrup. Amanda will touch on this a little bit. Great sugar. So I'm adding my maple syrup right here. Okay, 1 lemon juice right here. Just for a little bit of acidity. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to pour everything into these cups right here. And while we do this, why is it, Amanda, that chia seeds have gotten so popular over time?
So chia seeds are going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. You have a lot of fiber in there. They actually help raise up your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. We all need some of that. They're really, really rich in omega-3 fatty acids as well. So omega-3s going to help us with our antioxidants. They're going to help us reduce our inflammation. Actually, 40% of our brain is made up of polysaturated fats. Did you guys know that?
I did not know that.
And 60% of our eyes are as well. So really good for our eye health too. It's really awesome too to have a healthy dessert option. As Fabrice said, I work with a lot of athletes who are trying to heighten their performance and their body composition. They don't want to sacrifice taste just to be healthy. So I'm really happy that Fabrice is able to show us another alternative and keep our sugars low and keep our taste buds happy.
Okay, here we are. So they're pretty much ready now. Now they're gonna set in the fridge, and the chia basically is gonna act as a thickening agent. So I'm gonna put this in here as best as possible, right here. Okay, we good? Perfect. Okay, so now we're backtracking, and now we're gonna start with the appetizer. All I'm going to do for this, because the fish is going to be purchased later, I want it to be nice and fresh, I'm going to prepare the pickled cucumbers for our poke. So nice Persian cucumbers, Japanese cucumbers are good too. I'm just going to cut each end right here, and while I chop these, more like slicing really. Amanda, what do you think about protein, raw protein coming from seafood?
I'm sure you'd agree on this, but we have to make sure all our raw stuff's going to be sushi grade. So what exactly does sushi grade mean?
Well, I think, when it comes to fresh fish, a sushi grade is always, at least for Japanese people, the closest to the belly possible. So for example, a toro, which is the belly of the fish, is the oiliest. Also the tastiest. So for us here in America, it's a little different because we like our tuna very red. Japanese like it a little darker and more oily and tastier. But usually it's always the best part of the fish available. So without any cut, slice or anything like this. And again, they usually label when you purchase it. So you would know. But Japanese are very picky when it comes to fish. Specifically that you have always to make sure that you do not purchase fish that is been stored in plastic without being frozen. So Japanese have a technique for keeping fish. Any fish that's been harvested in Japan or wherever they bring it from is actually placed in a freezer, so flash frozen, for a very short period of time to kill a certain parasite. And I don't want to go too much into detail, but this is their technique to preserve the freshness of the fish. Okay, so this is done right here. My vinegar is boiling, so I have pickling spice in there. Again, this is a white vinegar, red wine vinegar, and apple cider vinegar, which I use a lot, including in the morning in a bit of cold water. I don't know why I do it, but I read somewhere it's really good. So Amanda later can tell us about that. I'm going to put this over. And while I do this, Amanda, I know that recently we were talking about nutrition and you suggested that I eat more protein. Could you tell us why is that?
Yes, so Fabrice he's an athlete, so he does a lot of training, which means a lot of recovery. And protein is going to be one of the most important things that we need to do that recovery. Our muscles are going to get it from somewhere, and we don't want our body to, in essence, eat itself. We'd rather get it from food. And I know you told me that you've had a lot of results since increasing your protein.
It's true. Actually, I feel bad. I mean, I feel like I have more energy for sure. And I did in 72 hours. I dropped like almost a couple of pounds, which for me it's huge. I don't lose weight very easily.
And your performance is still pretty good.
Yes, yes. Ramen noodles. So I have to say, I'm not sure it's the Japanese national dish, but probably close to that. I was introduced to ramen by my good friend Frank McCarroll at Practical Karate. There is nothing like a bunch of martial artists walking into a Japanese restaurant to have ramen. It's like a movie. In any case, very simply, lots of seaweed. Okay, I'm gonna do a dashi broth with kombu right here. They're full of minerals. They're excellent. The noodles, I personally like soba noodles, which are made with buckwheat. They're healthy, gluten-free. And these, as a matter of fact, other seaweed for the poke, which I forgot earlier. Some mirin right here. Some miso. Miso is a fermented soybean paste, sometimes made with rice as well. All I'm gonna do is soak some of this seaweed with the shiitake right here, and then I'm gonna make my broth. So I'm gonna cut some chicken up. In the meantime, why is it that some people are really going crazy over the whole bone broth diet, so to speak?
So bone broth actually has a lot of protein in it, like we just talked about. But another good thing is that it's great for our joint health, really good for athletes in their recovery, great for us as we begin to age too. So there's a lot of preventative benefits as far as arthritis goes, and again, recovery. It also is helping with our metabolism. It promotes anabolism, which helps our muscle growth too. Everybody wants that.
Okay, so chicken, I'm gonna cut it off because it's much cheaper if you buy it whole. However, I know people are very concerned about salmonella, so be careful. Okay, so here's my chicken. There's always a little pocket surprise in here, which for you guys when to cooking adventures, you know, usually the gizzard here, the neck, which actually I'm gonna keep for the broth. It's excellent.
Very
it's
healthy
the liver.
part of the chicken.
Very healthy, right?
Very healthy.
Yep. And my dog loves it. So anyway, very simply, 6 parts of the chicken. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna cut the wings right here on both sides. You're asking yourself why I have paper and plastic here. I'm still gonna disinfect my board, but I like to have a paper and plastic for prevention, mostly for my board and for the chicken. Right here, so I did the wings. Now I'm gonna go right behind the breast, all the way to the bone. Break this off. Right here, you slide it right behind the bone right here. Here's one. There's 2 right here, same thing, right behind it. I go all the way, break the one off right here at the joint, like an armbar in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right here. Yeah, and that pops out. And then cut this off right here. And that's all we have left here. So at this point here, if you want to be fancy, I'm going to cut on each side, right here, on each side of the breast, all the way down. Okay, so here it is. Cut this off. Here's our beautiful chicken breast right here. Here's our 2 legs, our 2 wings. I'm going to keep this whole because the leg I'm going to take a little longer to cook than the breast. So this way we'll balance the time, the cooking time. I don't want to leave this too long in a broth as it will dry out, and I'm going to serve this in a ramen. So I want this to be cooked, but I don't want this to be overcooked.
Okay.
Ramen broth. So shot on my dog, please. This is Chad. So I fill this up completely with water. I want to cover it. I want basically just enough broth to be able to serve, you know, all of my guests. Let's say there is, you know, 10 to 12 guests because I'm a nice guy, so I have a lot of friends. I'm gonna pour garlic in that. A lot of garlic. Garlic is awesome. Lots of ginger right here. So this is fresh ginger. I'm gonna leave it whole because basically what I want is just a nice infusion and flavor. If I wanted more flavor, I could slice it up in smaller pieces, which will release even more flavor to it.
And how long are you going to cook that for?
And this is going to cook for a good 2 hours very slowly. Basically until the top breasts are cooked. Once these are cooked, then I'm going to remove them. I will pull the meat apart, which I'm going to use for the ramen as well. Okay, so just to make sure if your chicken is cooked, 1 little paring knife. Just plant the tip into the thickest part of the meat. Once you press on it, it's going to come out a little pink. It's under. It's got to come out completely clear. Of course, as soon as the broth is done, this is when I'm going to add all of the vegetables, starting with the hardest one, which is the carrots, to the softest one, which is the bok choy. Makes sense, right? It's going to take a little longer to cook, and then we're done. That's it. But I'm going to do that at the last minute, though, when I'm ready to serve the broth. Vegetable. So it is obviously up to your taste. You know, I like colors, so I'm going to use some of these carrots here because it's always in a broth. Carrots always use, add some sweetness to anything. I have bok choy right here. Cabbage, vitamin K, it's really good. Unless of course you're on a blood thinner, which I wouldn't advise. Green onions and cilantro. A little bit more complicated, but not really that much. I need to do a dashi broth to be an authentic ramen. And all it is really, it's kombu, which is a beautiful seaweed right here that I pre-soaked because of the salt content. Miso right here, which we talked about already, and shiitake, which I'm gonna soak. Now, all of this, once I'm done with this broth here, I'm gonna add some bonito flakes, which is dried fish flakes, and I will put that broth into this broth right here. So the protein of the land combined with the seaweeds and the protein from the sea and the minerals from the sea. And that's it. Amanda, anything you want to add to this?
So I hope you all enjoy the healthy food that Fabrice has made for y'all. Over the years of working with general population and athletes alike, I have really found that people just struggle in trying to get their healthy food to taste good. It's not lack of adherence to programming that causes little hiccups, it's boredom and kind of lack of knowledge. So Fabrice and I are here to kind of provide some insight for you all. If you have any questions, you can email us. It's info@trinity-athletics.com. We're happy to answer anything for you, and have a good night.